All right. So I left cars.com with the intent to retire. And I was sitting with my son, James, who's on the call somewhere in the audience. And my son, James, is a developer, and he was looking for an SUV for his wife. And he landed on an XC90. And he said, "Oh, this is nice." And I go, "What features do you want for your wife to have on this?" Because she's got a little itty bitty car. So he goes, "Well, I want that. Got to have a backup camera and that lane change warning thing. That because it's a big car and she loses track." And I go, "That's good." I go, "Does it have it on it?" He was on the VDP, and then I knew what was going to happen because I'm very familiar with VDP pollution. And I turned on my phone, my stopwatch, and I says, "Go." And he started looking. At the 4-minute mark, I said, "Stop." He couldn't find backup camera and the blind spot warning system. It was buried in an ocean of text. And so my son's a developer, and I says, what if we took these really hot options and moved them up into the pictures? What happens if we moved just the wow factor features and moved them into the pictures? Because everybody looks at pictures. It's like, the stats are 70% of VDP time is spent in the images. And he goes, "Wow, I could do that." And I go, "You can?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then so we started spitballing, and then it started to catch momentum. And then I started to fetch build data and API connections from all matters of place. I recruited a dealer, Raymore Chevrolet in Syracuse, New York. We built a prototype and we put it on their website, and we deployed it only on his oldest units. And at the 3-week mark, we looked at it, and the GSM, Bill Bertram, looked at me, goes, "Put it on all my inventory right now." We literally blew through his aged problem. So we created so what we've built is a merchandising tool that is harvests all the hot options and relevant and pertinent information about the VIN and puts it into the photo experience. No special software is needed. It lives within the experience. So that means that it's seen on the dealer's website, all of the third-party classified sites, and your social media ads that are in retargeting that use the hero image for the.
I would say that's probably the biggest advantage of that piece because, a lot of people could look at that pretty quick and go, okay, well, hold on a second. We've got icons or superlatives included on our, dealer inspire website, so it's got all the hot buttons right there on the VDP.
Yes.
But like you said, most people are looking at the images and those superlatives or hot icons, whatever you want to call them. They don't always go over to AutoTrader, Cars.com, CarGurus, any of the listing sites. So I was thinking about that 2 days ago when you and I were on the phone, because I'm just like, all right, because it's simple. What you've got going is very, very simple. It's stuff that anyone that looks at it is going to be like, well, duh.
Like, duh.
But the reality is, how many dealerships still are not doing it? And we're all using some type of inventory, merchandising product, HomeNet or something like that, vAuto. And you can go through and manually do it if you want. Some make it easier than others. But to be able to automate that process, it's one of those things like, how comes this isn't offered already?